Hyderabad, we have some very good news for everyone. The New York Times bestseller Inner Engineering, A Yogi's Guide to Joy, will now be available in Telugu. In this book, for the first time, Sadhguru presented readers with a path to achieving absolute well-being through the classical science of yoga in a practical, accessible book. Sadhguru tells the story of his own awakening from a boy with an affinity for the natural world to a young daredevil who crossed the Indian subcontinent on his motorcycle. The wisdom distilled in this accessible, profound, and engaging book offers the readers opportunity to achieve nothing less than a life of joy. It has sold over 3 lakh copies in English so far and been translated over 20 languages in India and abroad. We are happy to announce that the book is now available in Telugu, published by MSCO Books, Hyderabad. To launch this book, we request Nani to please come on the dais. We also take this opportunity to thank Sri Chandrasekhar Reddy Garu, Chief Editor, MSCO Books, and volunteers who helped translate the book. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Sri Vijay Kumar Garu, Chairman, MSCO Books, for publishing these books. Thank you, Nani. Now, to the much-awaited part of the event that we are all looking forward. I request Sadhguru to please come on the dais.
कालो न जानाति तव जननं कालो न जानाति तव समापनं दृष्टो मया तव महाकारः योगेश्वर काल काल योगेश्वर काल काल నమస్కారం ఎవరుమా
ఓకే ఇక్కడ తెలుగు వాళ్ళు ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారు చాలా ఇది చూసిన తర్వాత చాలా హాయిగా అనిపించింది ఎందుకంటే ఏదో ఒకటి కొత్తగా చేయాలి ఇలా సద్గురుతో మాట్లాడాలంటున్నారు అని చెప్పిన వెంటనే కొత్తగా చేయాలంటే పాత వీడియోలు కొన్ని చూద్దాం అని అనుకున్నా పాత వీడియోలు చూసిన వెంటనే నాది గ్యారంటీ కొత్తగా ఉంటుందని అర్థమైపోయింది ఎందుకంటే నాకు వాళ్ళంత ఇంగ్లీష్ రాదు సో ముందే చెప్పేస్తున్నా అయినా సరే నేను ఇంగ్లీష్లో అడగడానికి ట్రై చేస్తాను అదేమన్నా మీకు బట్లర్ ఇంగ్లీష్ అనిపిస్తే ట్రాల్స్ చేశారంటే మర్యాదగా ఉండదు చెప్తున్నా ఓకే కదా సద్గురు వచ్చేటప్పుడు ఆయనతో పాటు తిరిగి కార్లో వచ్చేటప్పుడు
వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఈక్వలెంట్ ఫర్ బట్లర్ ఇంగ్లీష్ 1 తెలుగు
బట్ అంతే అలాంటిదే సద్గురు కూడా తెలుగు వచ్చు సో కొంచెం ధైర్యంగా అప్పుడప్పుడు తెలుగు మాట్లాడేయచ్చు నేను వచ్చేటప్పుడు కారులో సద్గురు అడిగారు, సో ఇప్పుడు స్టేడియంలో వచ్చే మీ ఫ్యాన్స్ జనరల్గా ఏజ్ గ్రూప్ ఉంటారు అని అడిగారు. సార్ ఇప్పుడు వచ్చే ఫ్యాన్స్ ఎవ్వరు నా ఫ్యాన్స్ కాదు, మీ ఫ్యాన్స్, అండ్ ఇది అన్ని ఏజ్ గ్రూపులు ఉంటారు అని చెప్పాను. సో సార్ ఫస్ట్ టైం చాలా
ఇదేంటి క్వశ్చన్ కాపీ చేస్తారు?
అదే చెప్దాం అనుకున్నాను, ఎందుకంటే ఫస్ట్ టైం లైఫ్లో అంటే చాలా చాలా స్పెషల్గా అనిపిస్తుంది ఈరోజు. ఎందుకంటే లైఫ్ లాంగ్ టీచర్స్ అడిగిన ఒక్క ఆన్సర్ కూడా ఒక్క క్వశ్చన్ కూడా ఆన్సర్ చెప్పను నేను. ఈరోజు అన్ని ఆన్సర్లు ఉన్న వ్యక్తిని క్వశ్చన్స్ అడుగుతున్నాను. అండ్ మీరు అన్నట్టు ఈరోజు మధ్యాహ్నం క్వశ్చన్స్ రాసుకుంటుంటే నాకు చాలా నాస్టాలజిక్గా అనిపించింది. ఎందుకంటే
ఎగ్జామ్
ఆన్సర్ షీట్లో కూడా క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ రాసేవాడిని ఆన్సర్లు తెలియక. సో ఇంకా మొదలెట్టేస్తాను. చాలా చాలా టైం పాస్ చేశాను. అసలు మ్యాటర్ ఆయన మాట్లాడితే వినాలని వచ్చారు అందరూ. సో సార్ ముందు when I was an assistant director, we used to grow beards, sir, because people will take us seriously.
I did not grow it, it grows.
I mean to say we never used to shave, because whenever we went to a hero or a producer and narrated stories, we thought they will take us seriously, they will believe us. So I saw in one video where you are saying we should let it grow, it's natural and all that. Is this angle also involved in it, or it's just that?
Well, nature did not give anything for you which is unnecessary. It's all part of the evolution. So some people have removed some hair, some people have sacrificed their brains, some people out of their love for somebody they've given away kidney. I thought I will be more useful to the world if I keep everything as it is.
You cut the nails kada? Avi kuda perinicharu.
No, that also would not have been necessary if we lived in the jungle. It would have been useful and it would have gone worn out by use. Today, because lifestyles have become such that you don't use your hands so much, so maybe you will have to cut it. I just rub it on the rock usually. Those of you who don't have nail cutters like me, you don't have to bite it, if you just sit somewhere and do this.
So this question has been bothering me from a long time. See, most of the questions today I'm going to ask are not the ones I've asked on Twitter or anywhere. To ask questions I'll ask Sadhguru, or I'm not forwarding it here, I'm just asking whatever I have a doubt. So you might find it very basic, dumb or whatever, but those are my questions, so I'm asking that. So this has been bothering me from a long time. When I was an assistant director, I remember my first salary when they gave it to me, it was 4,000 rupees. And then I remember it was all 100 rupees notes, so when I put it in my pocket, there was a bump under my bum. So when I was going back on the bike, I could feel it. And I was feeling that I'm so rich, there's so much cash in my pocket, and I can remember how excited I was, how I wanted to buy off half of the Hyderabad with that 4,000 bucks. So I was really, really happy, and I don't remember that kind of happiness, happening to me again. Now I'm earning thousands of times of that, but I don't remember what, having that same feeling again. Even Saturday night we used to, with my friends, I used to go to the Sony Dhaba or Quattro. Okay. From Monday to Friday, I used to wait for Saturday. On the Saturday morning, I used to be so excited that it's Saturday again. Evening, we are all going to catch up, meet, and then going to Sony Dhaba. So I was really happy. And then I never really, I made it. I was successful in cinema. I never imagined that I will, make it so far. But I never experienced that kind of happiness. So is success overrated? Like we all are waiting for success. We all think that someday we want to be success. But the idea of success, is it not overrated is what I want.
So, all those who clapped, we know they are failures. Maybe, they're all the Daba people.
Yeah.
So when you understand a means as an end, then this will happen. Money is just a means to do whatever we wish to do. The reason why everybody keeps a certain amount of money is so that tomorrow morning I don't have to worry, where's my breakfast? So that survival is taken care of, so that I can put myself into what I value most. Otherwise, every day morning I'll have to go in search of food. So, money is just about that. It is a means to organize a few things. A whole lot of people everywhere, particularly in Hyderabad, they're going at it as if money is their goal. Money is not your goal, it's just a means. So in your life, for the span of life that you have and the intelligence that you have and the capability that you have, how much means do you need is something you must gauge. Otherwise, you'll have means and you'll not have any goal. What is the use of a means? But there is no goal. You have a car, but you don't know where to go. What is the point? You know where to go. If you get on the bus, you will go there in 6 hours. If you get into your car, you'll go there in 2 hours. That's why you have a car, because you know where you want to go. Now you don't know where you want to go, but you have a rocket. What is the point? And anyway, if you bought half of Hyderabad, I want you to understand, the real fun is in the other half always.
4,000 more, sir, next month salary.
You have heard of Alexander the Great? You've heard of Alexander the Great? The moment you make an idiot like that great, then your life is ruined. Because I want you to understand what this man did. Alexander started off on his conquest mode at the age of 16. He went from country to country, killing hundreds of thousands of people, saying, this is my land, but won't sit there and enjoy that land, we'll go to the next one because the other part of the Hyderabad he's looking. Like this, he came all the way to India or to the entry of Indian subcontinent. By then he's 32. He's tired, killing, fighting, killing endlessly. He killed many of his very close friends who started off with him because they all wanted to go back. 16 years, no cell phone, you can't talk to your family. They have left their land 16 years ago. At the age of 16, 17, they are fighting endlessly, killing, blood, that's all they have seen. Everybody's tired, but this man wants the other part of Hyderabad. So, he went through a certain experience. Now, time is running out. For a warrior, 32 is not a good age. Things are becoming little weaker, not as good as it was at 25. So he is worried. So one thing is, he wants to conquer the world and it's taking too much time, so he wanted to become immortal. This is the next. Once you have Hyderabad, next is immortality. So he wants to become immortal. So he heard lots of stories, Indian yogis, mystics who lived for thousands of years, India is full of such stories. So he sent out an advance party of 8 soldiers. Go find an Indian yogi who will teach me the science of immortality. So they came looking around and then they found one yogi, somewhere probably looking at the descriptions. We think somewhere in the, let's say, in the Pakistani Punjab, that region somewhere, looking at the description of terrain, everything, it seems like that. We could be wrong, but somewhere in that region, what is presently Pakistan, which was considered India at that time. So he came and they found a yogi sitting under a tree, just one loincloth simply, sitting there under a tree, blissed out. They looked at him and they said, you come, our Alexander wants to meet you. The yogi laughed and said, I'm not going anywhere, I'm here. If he wants, please ask him to come. They said, no, you better come, he is the emperor, you just come now. He said, no. They pulled out their swords. These are violent men, they can take off your life for nothing. Now he is given a good cause that he is refusing their orders. So they said, we'll take off your head. He laughed and said, take it off. I've finished everything that I need to do with myself, I'm just sitting here, enjoying my existence. You want to take my head, take it. See, if I take your head, I will not get your intelligence. This is one thing people must understand. If I could get your intelligence, I could take all your heads and keep it with me. But no, if I take your head, I will not get anything from you. Only thing is, I'll have a piece of meat to handle. So then they thought, oh, this guy is not scared of death, he must be immortal. They said, begged him, please come, our emperor wants to know about immortality. The yogi laughed, let him come here. Then they went back and said, I think we have met a man who is immortal because we pulled out our swords, that guy is not scared, obviously he must be immortal. Then he himself came. When he came, Alexander sat on his horse. Emperors wear the most stupid clothing. How… every day same clothing. And a metal crown is the most uncomfortable headgear to wear. At least this is nice, this comforts you. Crown is a terrible thing to wear, just wear one metal strap around your head for 2 days and see how it feels to be a king. So he tried to talk to him, he said, I want to know immortality. The yogi said, get off that stupid horse. Because have you seen always when somebody sits on a horse, they become like this? You sit on an animal which is less intelligent than you and suddenly you feel so big. So he said, you get off that stupid horse first. So he got off, then he asked about immortality. The yogi tried to tell him, see, this is not the way to go. If you want, I will teach you how to turn inward, we will see. He said, no, I want immortality. After much conversation, when it did not get anywhere, the yogi said, okay, you go in this direction. He gave the landmarks, how to get there, a long journey, about 5-day journey. There is one cave. In that cave, there is a bowl of water in a stone, on the stone floor, there is a certain amount of water. You just drink a handful of that water, you will become immortal. Immediately Alexander set forth. After 3 days, him and these 8 soldiers going, then he thought, if these 8 guys also become immortal, see, the power is in killing them. His power is, I can kill you any moment I want. Suppose you become immortal, I can't kill you, then how do I manage you? So he said, you guys stay here. The last part of the journey, I want to do it myself. So he left them there and alone he went, found a cave. Then he found that water as he was told. He went and put his hands and was about to drink. Then a voice spoke and said, "Don't drink that water. I drank that and look at my state." He looked around, who's talking? There was nobody around, by then the water slipped out. Then he saw a crow and the crow said, "Don't drink that water. I drank that water I don't know when. And now the problem is I cannot die." See, if we really want to punish you, death sentence is not such a bad thing. If we curse you that you can never die, a million years later you're still sitting here, this is the worst punishment. So, Alexander did one sensible thing, he did not drink that water, otherwise we had to suffer him even today. So this is the only sensible thing he did in his life, he did not drink that water because he realized that he will not be able to bear himself. Forget about the world. The world will suffer, of course, but he himself cannot stand himself beyond a certain point. So we must understand, this life is not a conquest. This is not a conquest. The only thing that's there for you in this life is the profoundness of your experience. How profound is your experience when you sit here? This is all there is, nothing else you carry. Other arrangements we make for convenience. How much convenience do you want? Convenience will work only to a certain point. It will never transform itself into well-being. People have invested and invested like this endlessly. I met somebody, I was in a home in United States, and I walked into this room and I found 700 to 800 pairs of footwear. And this lady of the house came in and she saw I was in this room, "Sadhguru, Sadhguru, why are you here?" I said, "What is this footwear?" She said, "No, Sadhguru, let's go, what do you want, Sadhguru?" I said, "Whose footwear?" Then I see it's all ladies' it's all your footwear, 800 pairs. I can understand. You want one shoes for walking, another for jogging, another for golf, another for office, another for party. Well, you are a woman, you want all the 7 colors of the rainbow. All right, you have 25, you have 30, it's okay with me. 800. How will you wear on these 2 feet? You're not a centipede. I said, "How many lifetimes are you planning to come back and walk?" The day you met me, I thought, we will make this the last one for you. But now you've got shoes for many lifetimes ready. It'll all go waste if you don't come back. Then this was bothering me. And I met a CEO of a very large shoemaking company in America. Then I asked him, "Why would a woman buy 800 pairs of shoes?" He said, "Sadhguru, that is the only thing she can buy the same size throughout her life." Then I thought it's okay, maybe. But the fun is in the other half.
So basically, దీని అర్థం that I have become more wise, that I am unable to enjoy.
See, you cannot enjoy anything, this must be understood. If you try to enjoy something, you will bring misery upon yourself. But if you're joyful, everything is nice. You're supposed to be joyful, you're not supposed to enjoy. What is that enjoy? I know. When there is no joy, you try to enjoy. It is just that if you add one more alphabet… No. If you add one more alphabet, it'll become end-joy.
Yeah, maybe I meant joyful only, but I never again felt that kind of a high, that without thinking anything, to be completely joyful.
So if joy is what you're looking for, This will not come because of a bulge in your pocket. Joy means your life energy is in a certain state of exuberance. You're not dead. Mostly people are committing suicide in installments. Slowly they're becoming like this. All these people, if you saw them when they were 5 years of age, they were like this. Slowly. Grave faces. Grave faces because I think many of them are practicing the last pose in their life. You're an actor, you can tell them. You don't have to practice, believe me. When it comes to death, you're a natural star. Have you… I know. Have you ever seen any dead body which is having a wrong expression on its face? No. So why are you practicing now? Life has many expressions that will happen if you're in a certain exuberance of life. If you're slowly killing yourself, yes, literally killing yourself, so slowly it is becoming like half dead. I want you to understand this. Fully alive is fantastic. Dead is good, at least for others. But half alive means it's torture. See, if I want to keep you, if I want to torture you, what will I do? Will I kill you? I will keep you half alive. That is torture, isn't it? So if you keep yourself half alive, this is torture. Every day waking up in the morning itself is torture for a whole lot of people. Only little joy when that Sony Daba like in America, they have a culture, thank God it's Friday.
Thank God.
So if 5 days of the week is misery, how come Friday becomes joy? No, chemically induced something. This is the greatest danger in human life. Today we are going towards this very rapidly. To be healthful, we need chemicals. To be peaceful, we need chemicals. To be joyful, we need chemicals. To be blissful, we need chemicals. For ecstasy, you have ecstasy. For everything you need chemicals. Once this happens, right now, I think it has happened approximately to 25 to 30% of the population on the planet. The day it happens to 80 to 90% of the planet, that everybody is on some kind of chemical to experience something, then the next generation that you produce will be much lesser than you. Once we produce a generation which is less than us, we have committed a crime against humanity. The next generation should at least be one step ahead of us. If we leave them behind us, this is a crime against humanity. We are trying to get there rapidly.
సో ఇప్పుడు నాకు పర్టికులర్గా మళ్ళీ అలాంటి ఒక ఫీలింగ్ ఇప్పుడు నేను ఫీల్ అయ్యేది ఐ థింక్ డ్యూరింగ్ మై రిలీజ్ టైమ్ ఆఫ్టర్ వర్కింగ్ ఫర్ 9 months ఆన్ అ ఫిల్మ్ వెన్ ఐ గెట్ టు వాచ్ దట్ ఫిల్మ్ ఆన్ స్క్రీన్ that 3 hours is meditation for me. It's the most happiest moment in a year for me. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. So next question, నాకు ఎందుకు చెమటలు పడుతున్నాయి, మీకు ఎందుకు పట్టట్లేదు?
I am the one who is facing the questions, నాకు తానే చెమటలు పట్టాలి.
నాకు ఇక్కడ దాకా వచ్చేంత వరకు బాగా కాన్ఫిడెంట్గానే ఉన్నాను. మధ్యలో ఏవీ ప్లే చేశారు. అక్కడ ఆ ఏవీ చూసిన తర్వాత నుంచి చెమటలు పట్టడం స్టార్ట్ అయింది. సో మధ్యలో ఇలా తుడుచుకుంటూ ఉంటాను, మీరేమనుకోవట్లేదు. నేను మార్గదర్శిలో చేరాను, నాకు ఒక టిష్యూ బాక్స్ పెట్టారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ సద్గురు. కానీ మీ చేతి నుంచి తీసుకోవడం చాలా హ్యాపీగా అనిపించింది. నెక్స్ట్ ఇది ఇది ఇందులో ఎంతమంది కనెక్ట్ అవుతారో లేదో నాకు తెలియదు. సాధారణంగా మన ఇళ్లలో జనరలీ దిష్టి ఈజ్ అ వెరీ బిగ్ థింగ్. దిష్టి తెలుసు కదా. సో మా అమ్మ చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి జనరల్గా దిష్టి తీయాలి అంటూ ఉండేది. అండ్ బయటికి ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినా సరే, చాలా బాగున్నావు దిష్టి తీయాలి, లేదంటే సినిమా చాలా బాగుంది నీకు దిష్టి తీయాలి, దిష్టి తగిలిందేమో. తర్వాత ఎప్పుడైనా మనకి చిన్న ఏదైనా యాక్సిడెంట్ అయినా, ఏమైనా ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చినా, చూసావా దిష్టి తగిలింది. సో తెలియకుండా ఈ ఐడియాని చాలా ఒక పాపులర్ ఐడియా చేస్తారు మన చుట్టూ ఉండేవారు. సో ఐ స్టార్టెడ్ after initially I used to think this is one chadastam, my mom just wants to do something, okay do it అనేవాడిని. But later when I started having this some accident at the shoot or something, it kept on happening, and particularly I had this back-to-back hits and then I had this back-to-back accidents also, and then without me realizing I started believing it. Suddenly I've started reminding my mom, amma dishti వెళ్తున్నాను. సో ఈ దిష్టి అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ రకరకాల మంది రకరకాలుగా చెప్తారు. పీపుల్ సే సమ్ ఎనర్జీ అంటారు, ఇంకోటి అంటారు. బట్ ఇట్ ఈజ్ అ వెరీ హౌస్ హోల్డ్ థింగ్, ఇట్స్ అ వెరీ పాపులర్ బిలీఫ్. దీని మీద మీ అభిప్రాయం ఏంటి? ఇది ఉందా లేదా?
డైలీ స్నానాలు చేస్తారు. No, why I'm asking is in Chennai they're having bath once in 3 days.
మేము ఇంకా హైదరాబాద్
ఇంకా అక్కడ పోలేదు మీరు,
అక్కడ దాకా వెళ్ళలేదు.
ఇంకా హుస్సేన్ సాగర్లో. So yesterday I was speaking with a prominent group of people in the evening. One of the government officials said all these rich people are having shower every day. I said, where do you come from? In South India, without having a shower, we won't step out of our home.
Yeah.
No matter what. Even if we don't drink, we'll shower first.
Yeah.
So don't start this new culture, have shower once in… Thank God it's Friday. So, you wash your body with water. It's not just about removing the dirt. Even if you don't have any dirt, have you seen after a day's work, if you pick up a lot of stuff, you come and have a shower, oh, it's like a new life has come. Does it happen? Not just cleansing the body, it's not the soap, just the water running over your body. You go take a dip in a river, stay there for 10 minutes, come out, just see, it feels like you're born again. Because you need to understand, this body is made of fundamentally 5 elements of earth, water, fire, air and space. This season in our yoga center, because we have a wind tunnel in the sense, from the silent valley, the winds, the monsoon winds that blow, gets kind of focused in the valley, and when it comes towards the yoga center, it'll be coming anywhere between 70 to 110 kilometers per hour, different times of the day. So at this time, all our people are doing sadhana just standing in the wind like this, because this is a wind wash. Water wash you're doing every day, wind wash you can do. People, yogis were always smearing themselves with earth, but today that's become mud bath in the spa, okay? So mud bath is there. Similarly, there is a fire wash. This fire wash, we call it klesha nashana kriya. That means an act which will take away the impurities that gather around you. Because your body is not just here, your body doesn't stop here, it extends itself. Have you noticed? Probably women are more sensitive to this than men. You don't have to be touched by somebody. If somebody comes a bit too close, not a psychological thing, that's a different matter. Psychological and emotional aspects are there. Leaving that, if somebody comes too close, right there itself there is a feeling that, you want some distance. They haven't touched you, just like this. This itself causes some disturbance, isn't it? Because the body doesn't end here, the energy is little beyond that. How much beyond that depends on how exuberant your life energies are. If your life energies are truly exuberant, you can fill this hall with it. Otherwise, it is at least little bit. For most human beings, it could be anywhere between 3 to 9 inches outside of their body. So as impurities gather on your body, if you drive a two-wheeler, you will see I become younger every time I ride a motorcycle. Because if I ride for 4 to 5 hours and come back, people say, Sadhguru, your beard has turned black, full black carbon. So…
Pollution.
So you gather material on your body, you wash it. Similarly, you're gathering other kinds of material upon your energetic system. You can wash this water with water, certain impurities will go with that. If you wash it with air, certain other things will go, but air is not always available like that. You can even notice this, if you… but these days, these fans are going at a certain speed, but if you have the fan set at the right kind of speed, if you just sit under the fan for some time, you will see something within you lifts up. Have you noticed this? Little air wash. Similarly, there's a fire wash, which you're calling drishti. Is it necessarily happening because of other people's look or not, that's a questionable matter. But impact of life around you upon your energy system is definitely happening. If you have a spiritual process within you, that is, you're doing some kriya or you're doing some meditative processes, then you don't need all this, because you know how to wash yourself from within. If you do not have that, these things become significant. I must tell you this, there is a certain way to do which few generations ahead, people knew exactly how to do, but today I'm seeing they're just burning something and doing this. If you come to the yoga center, we're doing this Kleshanasana Kriya in a scientific manner, how it should happen. We have relieved people of various chronic ailments just by this fire wash. One surprise element that we found out recently is, we found that many children who are suffering with ADH, with learning disabilities, within a matter of 6 to 8 weeks of this fire wash, they have changed dramatically. This we never expected. So, your mother knowingly, unknowingly giving you a fire wash might have given you some learning ability.
I agree.
I'm bowing down to her. She did fire wash.
Same. Yeah. Amma ekkundi? Akkundi. Okay.
Oh, she's right. Okay. Sorry.
ఇందాక మీరు మన బాడీ కొంచెం బాడీలోంచి బయటకు ఎక్స్టెండ్ అవుతుందని చెప్పినప్పుడు కూడా నేను బాగా కనెక్ట్ అయ్యాను, ఎందుకంటే మాకు సినిమాలో ఫైట్లో ఇక్కడ దాకా తీసుకొస్తే పడిపోతాం మేము.
That's true.
టచ్ అవ్వక్కర్లేదు. సో ఇది చాలా క్యాషువల్ డౌట్. రఘువరన్ అనే చాలా మంచి యాక్టర్ ఉండేవారు సార్. రఘువరన్ పేరు, ఆయన పేరు చాలా పాపులర్ యాక్టర్, ఇప్పుడు లేరు. ఆయన యాక్ట్ చేసేటప్పుడు ప్రాంప్టింగ్కి డైలాగ్ వేరే లాంగ్వేజ్లో యాక్ట్ చేసేటప్పుడు, when he used to act in other languages, for prompting he used to give these spaces in between dialogue and dialogue, where assistant director used to prompt him. So that became a style. The spaces became a style, and it was very popular then. Sometimes when I was seeing the videos, sometimes when there was some one complicated question, you start laughing. So I doubt if that's the prompting break.
Really?
Okay. No, who is that person who is prompting in your head, and how do you, in that little fraction of second, so well composed answer will come out? How is that possible?
No. No, it's not a prompting break. I don't wish to insult people, but now that you asked, you think there's a prompting break now? What usually people think is very complex is usually the dumbest thing possible. What people think is very simple actually has a way to touch life. Simple things that people ask has profoundness to it. Most profound things are very simple. This complication is coming because of their own mind, not because of life. So when they ask these stupid questions, which they think is intellectually complex, I can't help laughing.
ఈ రోజు ఎన్నిసార్లు నవ్వారని నేను లెక్క పెట్టుకోవాలి. అంత బ్యాడ్ క్వశ్చన్ అడిగానా?
So, about answering a question, I'm usually not answering a question, I'm always answering the person. They can say whatever they want, I'm not listening to them. Because people can say a lot of things. Shakuni, from Mahabharata, Shakuni said, God gave us humans ability to speak, to hide what is in their mind. See that crooked man. Not to express what's in their hearts, to hide what is in their heart, that is why God gave us ability to speak. Which is true half the time for most human beings. So, they're making up complexities because they think by being difficult, they become valuable. By being difficult, you don't become valuable. By becoming easy, you become valuable, isn't it? This has happened to everybody, but particularly to the so-called spiritual people. You tell them anything simple, they will speak in a language that you cannot understand. First thing, this is the knockout. The first knockout is, if you say something, I'll tell one sloka that you cannot understand. See, it's a way of totally knocking you out. I say something that you have no clue, you cannot figure this. Now I will go into a long philosophy about a simple question that you ask. So, people are making a living by making simple things complex. My life is about making complex things simple. Because it is only by making things as simple as possible, it becomes accessible. If a child is trying to pluck a mango from the mango tree, you are supposed to pull the branch down, not to lift it up and say, okay, pluck it, let me see, you'll grow taller. No, you are supposed to bring it down. Because the mango is not going to hang there forever, it's only for the season. Yes, life is not going to hang there forever, it's just a little bit small season you have of your own. Isn't it so? Don't think you're here forever. Before you and me came, countless number of smart people have been here, they're all under this buried somewhere. Isn't it so? So it's a brief amount of time. In this, should you see how to make things simple or should you look at how to make it complex? This is the nature of the intellect. An intellect will feel, if you're living just out of your intellect, it will feel stupid if it's simple, it wants complexity. So people who think they're intellectual always are making simple things extremely complex, unnecessarily complex. And then they're miserable, but they think that is also virtue. If you're joyful, they think you're not intellectual. You must be like this. Really?
Yeah.
You must look like that. This also is needed.
Yeah, that'll definitely add.
Needed. Otherwise, and you must also you must speak towards that is prompting time. I don't have any prompting time because I have no knowledge, I have no nothing. I just tried to be free of all the memory that I have. My body, what memory it carries, my genetics, what memory it carries, my experience of life, what memory it carries, I know how to keep it aside and simply look at things as they are. This means, in your home you have a mirror, being a star, even if you're natural, you still need a mirror, right?
ఏం నవ్వుతున్నారు మీ ఇంట్లో లేవా?
Many of them spend more time in front of the mirror than you.
More than me, yeah,
Yes.
definitely, that's what…
So suppose your mirror remembered, let us say, even 10% of what it has seen in its lifetime. If you went and stood in front of it today, what would it show you? Total mess. The value of the mirror is, it has no memory. If it developed memory, gone. So this is the value of your mind. If you know how to keep memory, the silo of memory aside and keep it, it's like a mirror, whatever it sees clearly, distinctly the way it is. Somebody likes it, somebody doesn't like it, it's their problem, that's their memory issue. Yeah, how does somebody like or dislike something? They've developed a certain memory. I like this, I don't like this, I belong to this, I don't belong to this. I don't belong to anything, I'm just looking at it as it is. Maybe in a given moment, you're not able to expose all dimensions of what it is, at least what is relevant for that moment. So, does your mirror need prompting time? Television needs time, tube light needs time, mirror doesn't need time, so no prompting.
ఒక రకంగా ఇదే క్వశ్చన్ నేను అడిగింది, ఎందుకంటే ఇంత అందంగా చెప్తారు ఆన్సర్. ఇప్పుడు సేమ్ క్వశ్చన్ నన్ను ఎవరైనా అడిగితే, ఇప్పుడు నా కార్ ఎక్కడ ఉందని ఎవరైనా నన్ను అడిగితే పార్కింగ్లో ఉంది అని చెప్తాను. ఆయన పార్కింగ్ అనే మాట మాట్లాడరు, ఏదో చెప్తారు కానీ పార్కింగ్లో ఉందని అర్థమైపోతున్నాను. అది అంత అందంగా ఎలా వస్తుంది అన్నది ఇప్పటికి పెద్ద డౌట్. అదే క్వశ్చన్ అడిగాను అండ్ దానికి ఆన్సర్ వచ్చేసింది. బట్ అది ఎలా జరిగిందన్నది నాకు అర్థం కాలేదు. సో ఇక్కడ పెళ్ళయి పిల్లలు ఉన్న వాళ్ళు ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారు? ఆహాహా, చాలామంది ఉన్నారు. ఓకే, అదే అందుకే క్వశ్చన్ అసలు యాక్చువల్గా. సో ఈ క్వశ్చన్ ఇట్స్ ఫ్రమ్ అ పేరెంట్ టు అ పేరెంట్. మీరు I have seen few videos where you spoke about your daughter. This has been a big doubt as a father for me because growing up, my father was very strict. Then I thought I have to be very friendly with my son, like a friend. And then I have seen few kids who are really spoiled because their parents have been really friendly. And then I think little bit of koncham strict undalem. So there's a lot of confusion. What do you think according to ante neeru obviously to each to their own, but మీ దృష్టిలో వాట్ ఈస్ ద రైట్ వే ఆఫ్ పేరెంటింగ్? టు బి వాళ్ళకి ఫుల్ ఫ్రీడమా లేదంటే కొంచెం టఫ్ ఉండాలా పిల్లలతో?
Why should we think on these terms? A child is not a… You must understand this. If a tiger is born, let's say, a tiger cub is born, 90% of what he needs for his life is within himself. Only 10% parenting. The tiger's parents, mother and father, do just a little. 90% is intrinsic. If he just eats well, he becomes a good tiger. This is all. But now you're born as a human being, your only 10% is within you of being human. 90% has to be nurtured. This is the significant thing about being human, because the range of possibilities of how many varieties of human beings you can be within yourself is too many. That is not so for any other creature. They are born like that, nature has fixed it like that. Little variations, 10% variation between one tiger and another tiger. If both of them eat well, they're about the same tigers, isn't it? So because of this, human parenting becomes an important aspect. So once you bear a child, it's a 20-year project. That is if they do well. If they don't do well, it's a lifelong project. So you want them to do well so that you can be free. Yes? Because you understand if they don't do well, they will sit on your lap for your rest of your life. No, they must go. So what do you have to give them? You don't have to teach them the tricks of the world, that they will learn. Some will learn easy, some will learn the hard way. It's okay, they must learn it their way. What you give them is what it means to be human being. This is all you give them. So for this, you must look at yourself. You don't have to do much with them. If a child arrives in your house, if your child is born in your home, you should not think you have to do something with the child. You must look at yourself because children don't listen to you. Whatever the nonsense you speak, they're not listening to you, just like me they are. I'm not listening to anybody, I just look at them and answer them. They're just looking at you, observing every little thing that you do. How you sit, how you stand, how you speak, what is the expression on your face. All this they're doing, you see how the child is looking?
Yeah.
He's not listening to you, he's looking. So you must become in such a way that when he looks at you, he wants to be like you. So being a star in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana is fine, that's a profession. But you must become a star to your child. Child should think, my father is a star, not because you are popular in the world, but he sees you as the best human being that he can think of because there's not much exposure for him, there is a safety. He's not seeing so many people, he's just seeing mother, father, a few people.
Yeah.
Among the few people that he sees, he must look at you as you are the best man out here. If he sees that…
That's what I'm working on, Sadhguru.
If he sees that, he will anyway go that way. If he doesn't see you that way, then he will look all over the place for some other kind of example. Today, the examples that he sees are not necessarily at home or school or in the neighborhood. They are somewhere in another part of the world. They may not even exist. I'm saying they may not even exist, but they're influencing him. So especially if his screen time has to go down, you must be really a superstar at home. You understand?
Everyone.
Yes. It's not just for him, for every one of you, this is the only way your child wants to be who you are. He looks at you and thinks, oh, my father, this is not what I want to be. Then you try as hard as you want, he will do everything that you don't like just to freak you. Yes, you've done it. Just to freak you, he will do something. Just in reaction, even if you're saying the best things, he is doing the opposite of it, just in reaction. So this is very, very important. This is not about giving freedom, this is not about being strict. You just create an atmosphere where he's naturally looking up to you, he wants to be like you. In this, if you fix yourself, everything is fine, there's very little parenting to do. It's like, see, even the chicken, ducks, tigers, lions, all of them have done this. If they walk, see how all the little ones are walking behind, running behind them. They desperately want to be like their mother or father. Have you seen this? Your children should become like that. For that, you need to work on yourself, not on them.
ఆన్సర్లు వింటుంటే మంచి క్వశ్చన్లు అడుగుతున్నాను కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ వస్తుంది. సో చిన్నప్పుడు when I was a kid, when he very supposed to be popular astrologer came home and then he said ఈ అబ్బాయికి రాజయోగం ఉంది అని. రాజయోగం
అందరికీ అదే
చెప్తారా? ఆ తర్వాత తెలుసు అందరికీ. ఇది తర్వాత ఎప్పుడు తెలిసింది, ఇది ఒకళ్ళిద్దరితో ఈ విషయం డిస్కస్ చేసిన తర్వాత వాళ్ళు కూడా చెప్తే అప్పుడు అర్థమైంది. సో అని చెప్పిన వెంటనే ఫస్ట్ మా వాళ్ళలో డౌట్ ఏంటంటే రాజయోగం అంటే ఏంటి అని అడిగారు. వీడు చస్తే వెనకాల 1,00,000 మంది వెళ్తారు అని. అప్పుడు నేను కొంచెం బాధపడ్డా, చస్తేనా, చచ్చిన తర్వాత ఎంతమంది వచ్చి లాభమే ఉంది, బతుకున్నప్పుడు కదా ఉండాల్సింది అని అనిపించింది. ఆ టాపిక్ అక్కడ వదిలేశాను. But then as I grow, when I was watching this generally in the industry, outside, everywhere, నిజంగానే చస్తే మంచోడైపోతాడు ప్రతివాడు. ఎందుకు అయిపోతాడో నాకు తెలియదు. Every time a politician or an actor or somebody in general also outside, somebody dies and then they have such good things to talk about them. Everybody says he's a friend, he's such a good guy. And sometimes I keep wondering, I wish these guys came back into life and they heard all this and went back to die again. So, why is this happening? Because అందరికీ ఒక సడన్గా ఒక మంచి వచ్చేస్తుంది, అంతా చాలా మంచి. ఎంత మంచి యాక్టర్ అంటారు, వాడు సినిమా రిలీజ్ అయినప్పుడు ఎవరో మాట్లాడుతున్నాం, చచ్చిపోయినప్పుడు అంటారు రావణ. సో వై, వాట్ ఇస్ ద రీజన్?
చచ్చిపోయిన వాడు ఏదైనా తప్పు చేసినాడా ఇదివరకు? చచ్చిపోయిన వాడు ఏదైనా తప్పు చేశాడా?
చేసిన వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు చాలా మంది, వాళ్ళకి కూడా చాలా పొగడ్తలు చూశాను. చచ్చిపోయిన తర్వాత లేదు.
అందుకే
లేదంటే దేవని తిరిగి వస్తాడని భయం.
తెలుగు దే డిడ్ నాట్ అండర్స్టాండ్.
చాలా బాగా మాట్లాడారు కదా, ఒకసారి ఆయన తెలుగుకి.
People appreciate the dead, rightfully so, because no dead man has ever harmed anybody. No dead man has done anything wrong ever, except that he smells if you don't treat him well. That's the only thing. You have to… he demands attention, that you quickly dispose him. Otherwise, he will make your life miserable. That's the only thing. Otherwise, he's not done anything wrong. So people naturally praise a dead man. Having said that, it is also a civilizational aspect, a human aspect, that it doesn't matter when you're alive, we may be running the same race, we may be fighting, we may be elbowing each other, struggling, looking at all negativities at each other. But when mortality happens, when death happens, we keep all those differences aside and we bow down and say, whatever was good about you, they may talk about it, nothing wrong with that. It's good everywhere in the world, no matter which culture it is. When somebody dies, very few people on the planet are so crude, they will also disrespect the dead body. They will kick it around, they will do horrible things to it, all this. Otherwise, most human beings on this planet, even if they fight war and they themselves kill them, once they die, they bow down. Because you bow down to mortal nature of who we are. We know he may be dead, I may be standing, but it's just a question of time. It's just a question of time. Apart from that, respecting the dead is not necessarily exaggeration. In every human being, there are pluses and minuses. Because both of you were running the same race, I highlighted your minuses all my life to put you down because I want to win the race. But I'm sorry, I don't want to use that word with you, somebody died. Now you talk about their pluses, because pluses were also there.
There, we haven't spoken about it.
We haven't spoken about it. If now also if you do not speak, even then you want to speak minuses, I think that will be very crude. At least when somebody is dead, if you have nothing plus to say, you become silent. Otherwise, the pluses that you did not say all these years, at least then you must say.
I wish they said before, but that doesn't happen.
That is true. I wish they had said it all their life, that's a different matter.
Yeah.
But life doesn't happen like that. Life is such that everything that you want, somebody else also wants. There are so many things. There are so many dynamics of life. Not everybody is living in that level of maturity. Even if what I want somebody takes, I can be joyful and be here. Not everybody is made like that. So they highlighted the minuses because of the frictions. But once a person dies, this is not the time to talk minuses. You highlight the pluses. But there are fools who are just exaggerating everything, that's a different matter. But this is a basic human decency towards each other.
Growing up, never used to get to listen to this word depression much. Very, very rarely a word like a psychiatrist or a depression or something. Now that we are all aware of that, then and people know that it's a genuine issue, and we'll talk a lot, which is very good. I understand completely. But then I also realize there's so much of talk happening. Almost every alternative person, in some conversation, we hear this depression word happening a lot nowadays. I'm happy that the awareness has become more, but again, at the same time, I'm also realizing there are few people who suddenly might be feeling a little low one particular day, and they want to believe that it is depression. I know the depression is a very genuine, serious problem, but because of this overexposure, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Is it really pushing the next generation into a, thinking any small hiccup also thinking that this might be something serious problem, and they giving into it?
Oh, I didn't know that was a popular question. With your question, you're getting into trouble. If I answer this, I will get into deeper trouble. I've already, last 1 year, I've been in lot of trouble because a whole lot of people are pursuing me and saying, he doesn't respect depression, he's talking against it, he thinks it is not a medical issue.
No, I respect it. By the way, I don't want to be in trouble, but I genuinely believe it, but I just don't know, it's… with few, it's just becoming too much. They're talking so much about it that sometimes people who are generally low in particular day also might feel.
No, don't be.
90% of the cases are maybe fair, but sometimes. Yeah.
He really plays it safe. It is not that. I am not made like this, that if somebody is suffering, I'll mock them. That's the last thing I'll do in my life.
Yeah.
But these days, it's become an activism about everything, not just one aspect. So people are always looking for a cause in their life. Any one word, something, without even understanding what is the context of that one word, simply they'll go on. So let me tell you this. This depression issue came up. It was a quote, a daily quote in which I said, whatever the nature of your ailment, physical, mental, essentially the source is within you. Either your body has turned against you or your intelligence has turned against you. It's a fact. You can give it many names, you can call it stress, anxiety, depression, this, that. Something has turned against you. That is, something within yourself has turned against you. Some outside situations also may prompt you, push you in that direction. But fundamentally, if my intelligence was working for me, I would definitely keep myself in the best possible way. If all the cells in my body were working for me, will I make myself sick? So this is all I said. A campaign ran for about 6–8 months, all kinds of people commented, he doesn't know what he's talking, this. I have spoken to top-level people in this field across the world. All of them think what I'm saying is perfectly fine. Whether even if I don't get endorsements from them, I know it's perfectly fine because I know how my mind works. I know if I give myself the luxury, I can also become depressed. Something doesn't work my way. Nothing actually works my way most of the time. Yes, I will tell you in more detail if we have time. Because when you do as many things as I do, so many things don't happen the way you want it. The reason why people have reduced their lives to very small scope is simply because they're afraid of failure. I know I will die a failure, but I'm a blissful failure, so it doesn't matter. In my life, it so happened, almost 38 years ago, I was sitting in one place, suddenly every cell in my body burst into ecstasy. Then I observed what is happening within me. Then I realized after a few weeks, if I don't mess with my mind, I'll burst with ecstasy. Then I thought, this is it, I have discovered something fantastic. On that day, the world's population was 5.6 billion people. Then I sat down and made a plan that in next 2.5 years, I will make the entire world ecstatic. Hey, wait, don't clap at my failures. Now it is 38 years. We've touched a few million people, people say we have touched some 500, 600 million people. But that's not my idea of the world. Now the population also has increased. I know I will die a failure, but I'm not a depressed failure, I'm a blissful failure. Now, why I'm saying this to you is, well, there are certain pathological issues within the system. There are genetic issues, there's chemistry issues. But for all this, fundamentally, the basic control for all this is within you. You have not taken charge of it, that is a clear factor. You're trying to manage an inner situation by arranging an outer situation. But whoever the hell you are, you can never arrange the outer situation just the way you want it. Does it ever happen? Does it ever happen to anybody? Nobody happens 100% your way, isn't it? Not your husband, not your wife, not your parents, not your children, not your friends, not your office, nobody happens 100% the way you want it. So if you are going to freak every time when something doesn't happen the way you want it, then you will freak for the rest of your life. So if you see this, you would understand that the source of all human experience is within you, including how your chemistry will slosh is within you. When somebody is ill, are we going to talk all this to them? No. They need care, they need help, they need medicine, they need compassion, that's a different matter. But those of you who are healthy, if you think, because right from childhood this comes, if you are sick, you get attention, if you're joyful, you'll get scolding. This must change in the society. Joy should get attention. Misery should not get attention. This is a very misunderstood way of handling things. If a child is jumping with joy and screaming, "Ay, why are you screaming?" If you like this means, moo, 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 moo. It's just a wrong way of raising a child. Because a child must understand he must invest in being well. He must not invest in being unwell. Unwell will not bring any results or rewards to him. He must understand this in a very deep way. If he thinks being unwell, physically or mentally, I will get lot of attention and rewards, he will work towards being unwell. This may look very simplistic, but I'm telling you this from a very profound dimension of who we are. There is something called as life energy, as intelligence. Intelligence is not the bone box that you carry. If you… See, does your avakai look like you? Hello? Does it smell like you? Does it feel like you? No. If you mix only just chili and mango and rice and eat it, it goes inside and becomes you, isn't it? There is an intelligence within you which can make this horribly spicy stuff into you. There's an intelligence or no? You eat a banana, it becomes you. When there is such a dimension of intelligence, from all kinds of nonsensical material that you give, it makes a human being. If you have access to this intelligence, your well-being, your health, your mental balance is in your hands or no? If you don't take charge of this, then you are thinking it is all happening to you. So a lot of people for ages, especially in the last 100 years, because of psychiatry developing in a certain way, people started saying, no, there is genetic things, you can't touch it. Well, now genetic sciences are telling you in 24 hours, you can change your genetic code completely if you do the right things with yourself. You can change the genetic patterns of who you are in a matter of 24 hours. I can show this to you. People who go through certain types of initiations and processes, 24 hours later you look at them, their very face will look different. You cannot recognize them, they will become like that. Because you can transcend your genetic limitation. In fact, this entire culture is about that. Spiritual process means that. See, when you are 18 years of age, you don't want to be like your parents, I want to be something different, this, that. But you see the same person, by the time you're 40, 45, you begin to walk like your mother, talk like her, sit like her, stand like her. Have you noticed this happening to you? Because the genetics are taking over. We call this traditionally as karma. Karma means past memory is ruling the present. If memory rules the present, if your memory structures who you are, you have no life of your own. You're just an extension, you're a recycle, you're not a fresh life. Spiritual process means just this, that you want to break away from the limits of your memory, because memory means there is evolutionary memory, there is atomic memory, there is elemental memory, there is genetic memory, conscious, unconscious, articulate, inarticulate, there are many kinds of memories. You want to transcend this so that you become a fresh life, your experience of life is completely fresh. Otherwise, you're just a recycle of the past. Why same problems exist after 100 generations is simply because nobody breaks the memory cycle. There is these words which are all misunderstood today. There is something called as samsara. Samsara means, in Tamil it's become samsara means wife, because she keeps them on the rope and keeps them run around. Samsara means cyclical movement. That is, everything that is physical in the existence is in a cyclical movement. You take an atom, it is doing this. You take the planets, it is doing this. You take the galaxy, it's doing this. You take the whole cosmos, it is doing this. Everything that's physical is in cyclical movement. So if your entire experience, particularly if your identity is completely rooted in your physicality, you will also be in a cyclical motion. If you want to break this, a dimension beyond physicality has to come into your experience. If you touch something beyond your physical nature, then we are saying this is spiritual. You went to temple, church, mosque, wherever, this is not spiritual. There you're going, what is the prayer about? What is the prayer about? Dear God, give me this, give me that, save me, protect me. Hello? This is just survival, outsourced. So if you want to break the cycle, then you have to touch a dimension which is not physical in nature. Once you touch something that is not physical in nature, there is no cyclical movement, because you have become free from all the memory bank that you have. So whether you have chemical issues within you, whether you have pathological issues, genetic issues, you can break away from that. Maybe certain people will need more striving, certain people will come out more easily, that is always there. But for everybody there is a way. So when I say all your ailments, if they are infections, they're different. They come from outside, it's an invasion, you have to deal with it. But rest of the things are manufactured within you, this is your cause. Fundamentally, you have to see, my physical health, my mental health is my responsibility, 100%. If you see this, then methods are available to come out. We have all the compassion, because I want you to understand, if you have a physical ailment, you will get compassion from everybody. If you have a mental ailment, you will get ridicule from everybody. So particularly people who are suffering any kind of mental ailments, depression, anxiety, whatever, they need double the compassion that physical ailments need. But normally in societies, they get ridicule because it is very difficult. It's very difficult to decide whether this person is really sick or making it up, or they're acting it up to get something out of me, or what it is you can't make out. One time it looks real, another time it looks like it's made up. So, unfortunately, both for the one who is suffering and those who live around them, It is a constant struggle. But the most fundamental thing is, whoever you are, whatever condition you are, first and foremost thing to understand is, physical and mental health is my responsibility. It can go out of hand, it's always there. Whatever you do, we may die, whatever we do, we may become sick, that's a different matter. But it is our responsibility. If you see this, there is a way to touch the very source of creation which is throbbing within you. When the source of creation, which made this entire complex body out of avkai and chintatokku, when it can do this, it can also do some repair job, isn't it? Hello? One who manufactures the whole thing, can't he do some repair job? You have lost access to it. You think for everything there's a solution outside. Yes, when we need help, we will take help. When things have gone out of control, we seek help from outside. But fundamental thing is to take responsibility. Today, genetic sciences, neurosciences and also psychiatrists are beginning to speak that whatever the condition, it is possible to alter this from within. Only thing is how. There are many ways for how. Yoga is a technology. Yoga does not mean twisting and turning your body as most people are doing. It is a technology of taking charge of this. One thing is very clear, even if you go to the doctor, they're only giving you a pill, isn't it? What is a pill or a tablet? Just a certain amount of chemicals. If you put these chemicals, it lifts you out of your depression, it makes your anxiety go a little bit. It may not permanently go, at least for those few hours, it's down. So essentially, human experience has a chemical basis. Your joy is a certain kind of chemistry, your misery is a certain kind of chemistry, anxiety is one kind of chemistry, tranquility is another kind of chemistry, ecstasy is one kind of chemistry, agony is another kind of chemistry. All human experience has a chemical basis to it. This is the greatest chemical factory on the planet, most complex and sophisticated chemical factory on the planet. The question is only, are you a great CEO or a lousy CEO? That's all the question is. That may sound brutal when you're sick. When you're sick, there is compassion. But when you're well, you must take responsibility for this. Otherwise, you will make yourself sick. Everybody has an excuse as to why I should not get up from my bed and cry in my bed. Everybody has some reason, isn't it? Hello? Yes or no? Everybody has some pain somewhere about something. Somebody died, somebody did not… somebody is born, somebody is not born, all kinds of things. There is no human being who doesn't have a reason to push themselves into some kind of mental dip. Everybody has or not, there is a reason. Some people get there, some people don't get there. Is it always intentional? No. But there is an inner intent. That intent may not be a conscious intent. There is a chemical intent, there is genetic intent. Your atte was depressed, now you don't know why. You are fine and suddenly you're depressed because there is a genetic intent. But this intent can be altered if you take charge of yourself.
You would have heard about this word, deja vu. మీ అందరికి కూడా అనిపించుంటుంది కదా, అప్పుడప్పుడు ఏదో చూస్తాం, ఇది ఇంతకుముందు కూడా అయ్యిందే, ఇలాగే జరిగిందే అని అనిపిస్తుంది. సో ఐ ఆల్వేస్ స్ట్రాంగ్లీ…
సినిమాలో అలా జరుగుతుందా? అదే సీన్ చూపిస్తారా?
అది ఇట్స్ కాల్డ్ సమ్ లూప్ ఎఫెక్ట్. దెర్ ఆర్ సమ్ 4 or 5 films made which keeps repeating itself. But in life I felt strongly few times, I know it's not possible, but I saw something and I thought, ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ ఇదే ఇలాగే ఇంతకుముందు జరిగింది. అది ఎందుకంటారు? వాట్ యూ థింక్ ఇస్ దట్?
బ్యాడ్ డైరెక్షన్ అండి, అదే సీన్ వస్తుంది.
ఎవరు డైరెక్టర్? దేవుడా? ఇట్స్ జస్ట్ సమ్ మన చిన్న గ్లిచ్చా, ప్రాబ్లమా మన మైండ్లో, లేదంటే దానికి ఏమన్నా వెనకాల ఒక బ్యాక్ స్టోరీ ఏమైనా ఉందా?
There are many dimensions to it, but One thing is, most people are afraid of anything that's unfamiliar. They have a fear of unfamiliar. So, they have set up a mechanism within themselves, they're looking for the familiar. Either they will do what you said just now, I have seen this somewhere, otherwise they'll look at somebody and say, oh, she looks just like my sister. She doesn't look like your sister. But, you know, just the same, two eyes, one nose, one mouth, just like her. Like this they will find reasons because they're looking for something familiar. This usually happens to people when they're in that phase of their life, when they're not able to figure out what is happening with their life, or they're in a new space where they don't know anything about it, suddenly they will invent things that from somewhere else, this person looks like my grandfather, that person looks like my uncle, this person like this. Oh, this tree, I have seen it somewhere. Even that same damn tree never looked the way it looked on that day, I want you to know. Hello? Even that tree, if you have seen it earlier, it won't be the same. Day to day it is changing, isn't it? Day to day everybody is changing or not? So, but is it possible that somebody can revisit something? They can, but 99% of the time, it is not so. They're looking for something familiar.
ఇది ఓకే ఓకే సో ఆడియన్స్ ఎవరైనా ఏమైనా క్వశ్చన్స్ అడగాలనుకుంటే నాకు చాలా క్వశ్చన్లు ఉన్నాయి కానీ మీకు ఇచ్చేస్తే ఛాన్స్. సో ఈ సెలెక్షన్ ప్రాసెస్ ఎలా జరుగుతుంది? నేను ఎవరికి ఇవ్వాలి మైక్? ఓకే.
So namaskar, I'm Sadhguru. So I'm not sure if you have heard of the TV series called Sacred Games. It's very famous or unfamous. It is a lot of sexual and violence content in it. So what do you think art and entertainment should be given that much space, or it is disturbing to know that TV series like these are very famous and popular in today's generation?
If I understand the question right, you're asking why something that depicts so much violence and sexuality, why is it popular or why should we allow it to happen? Is that the question?
Yeah, or it should be allowed in art, as in it's okay to be there.
See, the dangers of this, even addressing this question is, now, if you address this question, immediately some people think their own ideas of what's right and wrong can be imposed on other people, which will not work. In a free society, it will not work. At the same time, is violence, extreme violence in movies and very gross ways of… Usually sexuality means generally a woman is being treated in a not necessarily a nice way. I remember in the 70s, there were movies, Hindi movies. I did not see most of them, but people used to tell me that there were some actors who were called rape specialists.
Hindi?
Yeah, in Hindi. So in every movie, there has to be one rape. It became almost like a standard for some time. So all those people who saw those movies as children, because there was no adult certification for that, anybody could go and watch it, they thought this is the way to treat a woman. Now when rape happens in the street, why are you surprised, I'm asking? We have cultivated them. All said and done, the cinema may be a commercial enterprise, but it has a profound impact in a society like this. See, in certain other countries, People watch the movie, go home, forget about it. Here it's not like that. We even elect them. Because a cinema is not a cinema. Cinema is more than reality in this country. So when it is like that, I think it should be conducted more responsibly. What is it that we are trying to create? If you try to control it from outside, it'll become ugly. If people use just about anything and everything to make money at the cost of the society, that is definitely ugly. So, I don't know what this television serial is because I never get the time to look at that place. Whatever it is, I don't know in what context. See, there is violence in the society, you don't have to hide it, you can show it. There is sexuality in the society, you don't have to hide it, you can show it. But are you glorifying it or are you showing it in a way that people say, this is not the way? You showed a rape because it's happened. When people see it, they must say, this is not the way. If they think, wow, this is the way, then what kind of society are you creating? So, many times this has come to me in various different forms, this kind of question. I think people are hiding behind art. I'm sorry if I say anything wrong. People are hiding behind the term art. If it is art, it should not be so commercial. You're doing commerce and you're calling it art. There may be some artistry involved in it, we appreciate that. But there was a time when we were growing up, there were art movies and there were commercial movies. Now there is no such thing, commercial movies are art. So commercial movies are made essentially to make money. Somebody is investing to make money, nothing wrong with commerce, because nothing wrong with commerce, nation's commerce has to develop in all levels. So entertainment is also commerce, it's fine. If it is commerce, then it must be controlled, there must be proper… For every commerce, there is a certain amount of control, isn't it, in a society? In this society, though today everybody, at least a big percentage of population is drinking, still we are holding on to it that you cannot advertise alcohol. They will show an alcohol bottle and say CDs and music. Yes or no?
Sparkle water.
Sparkling
water.
That is okay, but CD and music, how does it come, I don't know. Anyway, I'm saying when we see it is going to influence the society in a big way, there are controls. So, if something is going to impact the society, there must be some sort of control. It is best the self-control is self-imposed rather than a government agency imposing it, because then it'll become something else very ugly, it'll become somebody who doesn't know anything about it. It is not about deciding what people should see and should not see. It is about where do we want to drive the society. Right now, more than… I don't know about this television serial, I'm continuously speaking about all the… what are these… video games. A 5-year-old child enjoys shooting people. That's the only thing he plays. He enjoys shooting people on the screen. It's quite good because it doesn't spill blood anywhere, it's okay. There it spills, but it's okay. Now when he becomes 18, doesn't he want to get a little real? Hello? In United States, the school shootings are happening. People think it's an American phenomena. No, no, no. If there were guns in Indian homes, it will happen. Hello? You think it won't happen? In America, in every home, there is more than one weapon, all right? In almost every home, there is more than one weapon, minimum. There is at least a shotgun and a handgun, for sure.
We have toy guns.
Not that,
Kids,
I'm saying
yeah.
real firearms.
Yeah.
So there is excess, so it is only happening in America. But if there were weapons in Indian homes, even here kids would be shooting each other, for sure. When emotions fire up, you want to shoot, isn't it? So from the age of 4, 5, if you're practicing how to shoot people, when you become 16, 17, 18, don't you want to get real? Don't you want to see some real blood? I don't see what's wrong. If you are cultivating your children to do this on the screen continuously, what is the problem for you if he gets real? Or if his friend gets real and he shoots your child, what is the problem, I'm asking? Because you must understand, certain actions have certain consequences. This must be handled responsibly by people who are creating those things. If you bring laws for everything, then society becomes ugly. Government cannot manage these things, people should manage these things. So if somebody makes such a thing, people should not go and watch it. But no, they all want to go and see. So somewhere they enjoy it, isn't it? Today you see any of the Hollywood movies, it's not like before. Before also they were shooting, but now it comes, the bullet enters and the brains splash and there is a rerun. Again it comes in slow motion and splashes all over the place. People are enjoying it. Once you enjoy these things, then violence is inevitable on the street. It's just a question of graduation, isn't it? So, what kind of society we want to create? All those people who influence the society in a big way, whether artists, politicians, media people, spiritual leaders, religious leaders, whoever has influence over people, they must look into themselves and see what is the consequence of our actions. This much responsibility must come.
Sadhguru, here.
Ooh. How did you grab the
same place.
microphone?
Yeah. I have a question. My previous generation, my fathers are farmers, but they made me an engineer because they couldn't able to survive from their land. So the complete generation of my 5 fathers has converted to engineers or some other works.
Oh.
So entire farming is vanished there. I'm interested to do farming, but because of the survival problem, I came to an engineering. So how I have to overcome this process?
Okay. Anyway, we would like to have a well-studied engineer, not an engineer who's converted. I don't know what that means. How do you get converted to engineering? Anyway, I understand what you're saying. See, this is a major tragedy unfolding in the country. Out of 160 million hectares of arable land in this country, 104 million hectares of land, the soil is right now labeled as distressed. That means nearly 60% of our soil is moving towards becoming uncultivable in a matter of anywhere between 15 to 40 years' time. In 40 years' time, the fertile lands that you have seen will turn into uncultivable land, maximum 40 years' time, anywhere between now to then. How does this happen? If you want the soil to be rich, before we go into that, I want you to first understand, what is sitting here as you and me is just the soil that you walk upon, it's just a piece of the planet. If the soil is weak, the food becomes weak. The food is weak, our very genetics become weak. There's substantial studies about this. So why has the soil become weak? Why such a phenomena is happening in this country? The only way you can put back organic content into the soil is by the leaves of the trees and the animal waste. Trees are gone long time ago, just to tell you to what extent. In the Ganga basin, which accounts for 25% of India's geography and 33% of India's agriculture, we have removed 92% of green cover in the last 50 years. 92%. What is our plan for this land? In Kaveri basin, which is some 83,000 square kilometers, right now we're running a campaign called Kaveri Calling. All of you must be a part of it one way or the other. In Kaveri, in the last 50 years, we have removed 87% of the green cover. So no leaves, no trees, no leaves. Animals are all traveling abroad. How will you enrich the soil? The food that you're eating is just the soil. You ate it up. What did you put back? Nothing. By throwing chemicals, you think it'll happen? Pretentious agriculture is happening. If we don't change this, whatever other aspirations we have, everything will fail. Doesn't matter what business, industry, what you develop, we'll have serious issues. People think water is the issue, water is not the issue, soil is the issue. If soil is rich, there will be enough water. The reason why agriculture is suffering is, this is one aspect. The other reason is, why at the time of independence, over 92% of Indian population was in agriculture. If you look back and see, 250 years ago, we were the largest economy on the planet. We were the biggest exporters, 33% of the world's export came from India 250 years ago. So what were we exporting? Were we exporting rice? No. Were we exporting agricultural produce? No. What were we exporting? We were exporting largely spices, more than that, textiles. Andhra Pradesh, every district has a weave of its own. Yes? Textiles was the main thing. Between 1800 and 1860, when the English decided to destroy the textiles of this nation, systematically they went about destroying it. From 1800 to 1860, our exports came down by 96%. So that doesn't happen just like that. That was done as a systematic process. So when this destruction of industry happened, millions of people died in those 60 years, where one of the British Governor-Generals writes back saying, "The fields of India are bleached with the bones of the weavers." Millions. It is estimated over 3.5 million to 4 million people died in those 60 years out of starvation. The rest desperately went about doing some kind of subsistence agriculture. Subsistence agriculture means I have a piece of land, I will grow little rice, little dal, little this, little that, everything that I need for a family, I will scratch the land and grow. This sort of agriculture happened. This is why 92% or 92% were in agriculture. Today this number has come down to 65%, thanks to you, you became converted engineer. 65 to 70% are still in agriculture. What this means is, for 10 people to eat, we want 10 people to eat, but now 7 of them are cooking. You think this is a good use of people? 10 people want to eat, very efficient, 1 person can cook. Don't want 2 or 3 people can cook. 7 people cooking for 10 people is not a wise way to do things, but that's where we are right now. Still 7 people are cooking for 10 people. So, you and more people must become engineers, it is good, or whatever else they have to become. But at the same time, can you let the agriculture die? Because today, if you make a survey, we have made some surveys, not official surveys, but generally we've just asked around. If you ask around, how many farmers want their children to go back to farming? Less than 2%. This means in another 20-25 years, when this generation passes, we will not know how to grow food. You may think the farmer looks illiterate, he's not dressed like you, he doesn't look like you, he looks like no good. But I'll do one thing for you. You are from the farming family. Those of you for 2 generations who lived in city, you have MBA, even if you have agricultural MSc, you come, I'll give you 10 acres, fertile land. 5 different crops, you grow it by yourself without taking local help. You will see you can't do it. Because this intrinsic knowledge that our farmer has, this is one of the most fantastic things that India has done is, of the many things, well, we are going to the moon, we've gone to Mangalyaan, all kinds of things, businesses have done great things, science has done many things, but the most fantastic thing is, without any science of any modern science, without any new technology, just with traditional knowledge, our farmers have fed 1 billion people. This is not a small thing. So this transition from farming to other things should not happen out of desperation, should happen as a good plan to do. Right now, one reason why farming is not succeeding is, soil is weak, so water is scarce. Another thing is, scale is too small to make it successful. The average land holding is 1 hectare, that means 2¼ acres per family is what we have. At this level of holding, whatever you do is going to be waste. Everybody is under loan, okay? Some 78% of Tamil Nadu's farmers are under debt. Because, I'll just tell you an example. A young farmer in our region, it's very fertile region. He has 3.5 acres. So I meet him and ask him, what are you doing for your water? What's your water source? He says he's put 9 bore wells. In 3.5 acres, he's put 9 bore wells. Because there are bore well companies which will come and promise, if you put it here, more water will come, if you put it there, more water will come. Everybody is hitting bore wells and bore wells. In 3.5 acres, maybe there is 1 or 2 sources or maybe there is no source of water. Because the scale is so small, everybody is putting a fence, everybody has a bore well, everybody has an electric connection. This is not going to work. We need the scale, otherwise it'll not work. Does it mean to say we have to take their land? No, for this we have worked out a system. I don't want to go into all the details in this, but this is what Rally for Rivers was about, how to integrate irrigation and marketing for the farmer so that his life can change. Now, one more big thing is, see, India, the latitudinal spread that you have from Kanyakumari to Himalayas, 12 months of the year you can crop. There are very few nations where you can grow crops 12 months of the year. From Kanyakumari to Himalayas, you can grow literally almost anything you want in the world. If we handle this land right, we can provide food for the entire world. It's possible to do that. And this is the only nation where 65 to 70% of the population knows how to do this magic of transforming mud into food. It is not a small thing. We could use that knowledge, we could use that capability, or we could make them destitute and come to cities and live in slums without any dignity, without any life to live, without any productivity, getting into crime. You become an engineer, I'm glad. Many farmers' children join crime or other kinds of things because they have no other option. So this needs to be addressed. So one of the things is, we have converted literally over 69,670 farmers in Tamil Nadu from regular farming to what is called as agroforestry, their incomes have gone up 5 to 10 times in a matter of 8 to 10 years. This is what we are calling as the Kaveri calling for the Kaveri belt… basin area, because if you do this, we want to convert 1/3 of the Kaveri basin into agroforestry. If you do this, the 46% depletion that's happened in the river waters will come back. River will flow once again, farmers will be rich and well-to-do, all this debt that is there in the banks will not happen because farmer will be rich by his own resource. This has to be done in a planned way, we must execute this. Otherwise, this nation is sitting on too many problems and too many possibilities also. But to convert problems into possibilities, every citizen has to stand up and do what needs to be done.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru.
Where are you?
Sadhguru here.
Okay.
When a movie is made, the idea and the story is…
The question is for him.
No, Sadhguru, it's to you. The idea and the story is developed to make it more popular on commercial factors. It developed on commercial factors to make it more popular, to reach more number of people. Can we use cinema to spread the spiritual methods to large number of people through commercial and popular ways? Can you give some direction towards it?
దీని మీద సినిమా తెచ్చా అంటున్నారా ఇలాంటి?
To spread the spiritual methods, yes. Yeah. I mean, how do we use cinema to take the spiritual methods more to the… make it more popular?
తీయచ్చండి, బ్రహ్మాండం తీయచ్చు, బట్ సెట్ ఎక్స్పెక్టేషన్ ఉండకూడదు. ఈ వీకెండ్కి ఎంత కలెక్ట్ చేయాలి అలాంటివన్నీ పెట్టుకోకూడదు. బ్రహ్మాండం తీయచ్చు, బట్ తర్వాత కలెక్షన్స్ మాట్లాడుకోకూడదు అంతే. తీయచ్చు సినిమా అంటున్నాను, బట్ అది దాని రీచ్ ఏంటి, లేదంటే కొంచెం పేషెన్స్ ఉండాలి, నిజంగా జనంలోకి వెళ్ళాలి, అందరూ రావాలంటే. బట్ సినిమా అంటే ఒక కథలాగా చెప్పాలనుకుంటున్నారా? అది చేయొచ్చు, కానీ నేను చాలా చాలా మంచి విషయాలు అప్పుడప్పుడు దూరుస్తుంటాం సినిమాల్లోకి, కొన్నిసార్లు కుదరదు.
Sadhguru, can you give some direction on this?
మీరే ఇవ్వాలి.
He is the director, he is the actor. Okay, anyway. See, cinema means you're thinking in terms of the big screen. Well, it's not that it's not a possibility. The question is, who will go and watch it? It has to be commercially successful. Commercial success means people watched it, all right? This happened. This is about 10 years ago maybe now. I was in United States and I was talking to somebody who's some kind of an expert on internet affairs. So, I never get to go on the net and browse this and that. I never have the time to do those things. So I asked him, what are people looking for? Everybody is looking at their screen, what are they looking for? Very casually, very casually, as a matter of fact, he said, Sadhguru, about 70% of the data is pornography. I said, what? He said, yes. I said, I don't want to believe this kind of nonsense. 70%, is it pornography? It's not possible. Then I checked with a few other people, they all say, yeah, it's around that much, maybe 65, 70, something. And what else are they using this for? There are many other things, drug sales, arms sales, all kinds. More than anything, what really kind of brought disgust to me was 1.6 million children below 15 years of age are sold on the internet every year. When we sell our children, as human beings, we've hit the bottom. There's no further down to go. Huh? When we start selling our children to be used in all kinds of slavery, this means we've hit the very bottom, there's no further place to go, isn't it? That is when I decided, then let me get on the net. So in the last 10 years, we've run a campaign that many of you in the upper regions might have suffered this. Even if you're watching pornography, in between, Sadhguru appears, inner engineering. I'm saying this with some glee because when such a phenomenal technology is available to us, is this what we do? See, many great beings have come on this planet, but when they came, if they spoke, hardly 10 people heard. In the 10 people, all kinds of things. Today is the first time you can sit here and talk to the entire world. When there is such a tool in our hands, if we don't transform humanity now, that means we have no intention at all, isn't it? So your question is very relevant, but will our natural star make a movie on spirituality?
Biopic Sadhguru. లాస్ట్ సినిమాలో ఉన్న ఆఖరి షాట్లో ఆయన గెస్ట్ అపియరెన్స్ అలా పాస్ అవుతారు ఫ్రేమ్, ఓకేనా?
So, it definitely, every medium that we have, not necessarily a spiritual process, every medium that we have of communication must be used to transform human beings, because that's the only problem that you have on this planet, human beings. There is no other problem. Hello? Yes or no? That's the only problem. So when there is such a powerful means of communication today, technology is available to touch every human being in whichever part of the world he or she is living. When this possibility is there, this is the time to transform humanity.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Here, Sadhguru, in the front, to your left. Namaskaram. Sadhguru, I would like to know how realized beings, only some of them become gods and others don't. Is there any science behind it, or do they come with any predetermined…
No, they just
life?
have to die.
So for example, after Gautama, so many would have come, but I think only you are doing such phenomenal things on this planet.
What are you trying to tell me?
I'm saying only you, you are likely to be the next god, but then already you are a god now. But I'm saying, why only you? For example, in these 30 years, so many disciples, so many people you have cultivated. Would you make one of them as capable as you? In the days to come, in the years to come, can we see one of your disciples as Sadhguru?
Oh. Gautama became a Buddha, did not become a god. Buddha means one who is a dada over his buddhi. One who has total mastery over his buddhi is a Buddha. One who has no mastery over his buddhi is a monkey, compulsive. So many things. Tell me, what is it human beings are suffering? Their own intelligence, isn't it? If you take away half their brain, they will sit peacefully. So they don't know how to handle their own intelligence, that's all they are. So in this, where does God come from? You must understand, this is a godless culture. Please listen to me carefully. This is a godless culture. There is no the God in this culture ever. This is a culture where we always told you, your life is your karma. Did we or not? Huh? What does it mean? Karma means action. When you say, my life is my karma, It means you are saying, my life is my making, whether I'm making it unconsciously or consciously. This is not a culture to look up, this is a culture to look in. This is not a culture where you want to go and sit in God's lap. Here, this is a culture which does not value God more than freedom, because mukti was our highest goal, moksha was our highest goal, not God, isn't it? Now, imported ideas you've got, see, they all know what is God, what is heaven, the geography of heaven, they know the entire details. In this culture, we still don't know who we are. We are asking, who am I? This is the most profound question. The best thing about being a Hindu is, you're confused. Yes, it's very good. Because this is a geographical identity. This is not a religious identity which builds you confidence. I know this, God is with me. There's no such thing here. You don't even know who you are. So you're a natural seeker. Once you don't know, once you realize you do not know, we can try an experiment with you. Suppose I ask you to walk from there to there now. You will walk very self-conscious, how others are looking at you, this, that. Walk like this. Suppose we turn off the lights and make it pitch dark. Now I ask you to walk from there to there. You will become super alert, isn't it? Hello? The moment you don't know what is the next step, do you become super alert or no? Some of you who do not know how to be alert will start imagining things and create fear. Otherwise, it's natural to become super alert, isn't it? So this is what it means. This is called as the intelligence of ignorance. If you identify yourself with your knowledge, which is all rubbish, whatever knowledge you have, if you identify with your knowledge, even if you know the libraries of this world, still compared to this cosmic space, your knowledge is minuscule, isn't it? Huh? Is it minuscule or no? You may have 10 PhDs, still what you know is a minuscule. If you identify with a minuscule, you become a minuscule. But our ignorance is boundless. Hello? Our ignorance is limitless, isn't it? If you identify with your ignorance, you're limitless. Once you identify with your ignorance, your intelligence will never sleep. Even if your body sleeps, your intelligence is always awake, standing. Then we say you're awakened. So, in this culture, because it's a godless culture, when we find a human being who is accomplished in a way that you cannot believe a human being can do these things, then we say he's a deva or he's a deity. So, we say somebody is awakened because he is able to see and do things that you are not able to do. You naturally look up to him. So we make him like a deity. The word God comes from outside. We don't have a word for God, please see this. We call it a murti, we call it a yantra, we call it by different names. It's very appropriate. In this culture, people are referring to Tendulkar as cricketing God. It's not wrong. When we find somebody is accomplishing something that seems above what is human capability, what we think is human capability, then we look up to him as an accomplished being. There are words for this, but now because we've gotten into Western ways and we are speaking an English language, we are using the word God. Otherwise, we called him a Mahatma, we called him a Mahanubhava, these kind of words, just to say it is an extraordinary being. And that extraordinary being became the aspiration of everybody else in that society. Out of our love, out of our respect, we may put some flowers, we may do something, but you must understand, we are aspiring to be like him. We are not there to go and sit on his lap in heaven. This is not the aspiration in this culture. Always the aspiration is this. You must understand, this is something that's all gone crazy now. There is no worship here. There is no prayer here. There is only darshan. Darshan means you behold a form which you think is higher than you and you want to take it into your heart. Make that a part of yourself. That is what darshan means. You go to temple not to pray. Darshan, just to see. Nothing need to happen, nothing to talk, nothing to tell him, no appeal, just to see. But because we've gotten so westernized, we are doing all that. Because they're saying they're talking to their God and their God is talking to them, now we also pretending he's also talking to us. We don't want to be left out. No, you are supposed to just behold, that's all, darshan is the only thing you do, no prayer. So, this is a hodgepodge thing, so you're saying this. Gautama did not become a god, people are aspiring to become a Buddha. So you think all the people around me are such dumb idiots. Nobody is working to become whatever they see as Sadhguru. You think nobody is working? They are. There are… because we are touching millions of people, nearing 1 billion now, because of this, some people just watching YouTube and they think they're doing well. Some people are on daily quote and they think they're doing well. Some people have done inner engineering and they think something is happening. So what is the difference between an established process, actually something that you have to do with yourself like inner engineering or further programs, and just watching talks or even being here is, one is titillation, another is transformation. Titillation means you know what? It's entertainment, spiritual entertainment. Little, maybe the way you think and feel you change a little bit. This is not transformation, this is a little change. It may help you, I'm not saying it doesn't help, it helps, but there is no transformation. Transformation means you as an individual is a form. This form should transform. If that has to happen, something more profound has to be done. We are seeing, we are looking for sponsors and other things. If it comes through in the next few months, we may roll out inner engineering programs free of cost. People are telling me, Sadhguru, you will have to file for bankruptcy. Such a thing will not happen. I'm sure people have enough sense when they see some value, they will respond in their own way and contribute in their own way to keep it going for others. So, we will make it like this, for you it is free. If you want another person to take it, pay something for the costs.
One last question.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. So we have an Indian tradition of like going to priest for a baby's name. So, and also when people start believing in some other religion, they change their name. So I have this question that has a person's name, like does a person's name have an influence on what he becomes?
It depends who that person is. It is just that when we name our children, we want to name something pleasant or inspiring. The official name we want it to be inspiring, The pet name at home, we want it to be pleasant and sweet. This is a natural thing. Why we want it to be inspiring is, when we utter, anybody who utters his or her name should feel something. Because your name has not only impact on you, it has impact on others because they are the people who say the name most of the time, not you. You don't go on chanting your name, it's the other people who say the name. So it must have a good impact on them when they utter the name. There is something called as sound. There is sound? Hello? The existence has sound. Words are created by us. When I say word, when you give a meaning to a sound, it becomes a word. If I say boom, if you give a meaning to that, it becomes a word, isn't it? But boom is just a sound. So sound exists. Today modern science is telling you, everything in the universe, including your body, the planet, the solar system, the galaxies, everything, if you look profoundly enough, there is no physical matter, it is just a reverberation, vibration. Where there is a vibration, there is bound to be a sound. The question is only, is it within your hearing range or not? Some sounds are in your hearing range, rest are not in your hearing range. Otherwise, this whole creation right now is making a humongous amount of sound. You don't hear it because your hearing range is within a certain frequency band. So, every sound that you utter has a reverberation. A reverberation can either have a positive impact or a negative impact. So, in this culture, we looked very profoundly and looked at what kind of sounds you must utter for your child. But today you're calling them cuckoo, bobo, momo,
Nani.
I didn't realize that. So cuckoo, bobo, nani, at home it's nice. But now that he's at home everywhere in the world, everybody calls him Nani. That's a different matter. But the idea of giving profound names is, it is for the sound structure of that name. When you utter that sound, there must be a reverberation which enhances who I am. And also for the people who utter that. All kinds of very… for a foreign tongue, very difficult sounding names, but profound impact. So sound and reverberations have impact. If there is somebody who's conscious, even today, I think I'm giving names for thousands of children every day. Depending upon the time, date and their birth and looking at their picture, we give a certain kind of name which fits that child, somewhere close around that. So this, different people were doing at different times, but everything, there is distortion. About everything there's distortion. Now, before the child is born, they've chosen the name because something else. They want to call him Johnny Walker because they like the drink. So, times are changing, but the existence has not changed. Only the social times are changing. Existentially, nothing has changed. Reverberations are reverberations. What has impact on you has impact on you. Positive impact, negative impact is there in the world. Is it a deciding factor? No. You can have any kind of name and still live well. But we are trying to use every kind of support that we have, why not? Every little support becomes valuable when difficult times come, isn't it? If your name is Shiva, every day we have to utter the name Shiva, Shiva, Shiva. Even if we are not thinking of that one, just looking at you, we are saying Shiva. Even our dogs were named like this. Only today, because of the English people, lot of people think in every family I see, it's just crazy. They have all Indian names, but the dogs have always foreign names. This is because This whole having a dog as a pet came from the English people because they were feeling lonely away from their homes. They loved their dog, cuckoo, bobo, momo, momo, all that. We had dogs, cows, animals in the house.
I have one, Guruji. His name is Subramanyam. It's a beagle, Subbu. I did a film called Everyday Subramanyam, so we named him Subramanyam.
Subramanyam is a good name for him. So we named everything like that because we have to utter it every day. One way or the other, we somehow utter sounds which are beneficial to us. Thank you very much. Because this question, agriculture, was asked and there is a concern everywhere. Chennai has gone dry. Next they're saying Bangalore will go dry, Hyderabad is standing in the queue. I want all of you who are here today, if you're a concerned citizen of this country, in some way please participate in Kaveri Calling. We will give out a call how to participate. There will be… This is a more action-oriented thing than Rally for Rivers, because here we want to plant… To make 1/3 of Kaveri Basin green once again, we need to plant 242 crore trees. This is not like… we are going to go and physically plant everything. This will be done on farmers' land by them, but we have to support it. So we are looking at raising super large nurseries. Right now, we have over 24 nurseries across Tamil Nadu. Now we are seeing how to build these nurseries in Karnataka also. So there is room, we will start a campaign, at least plant 1 tree for each one of you. If you're four people in the family, plant 4 trees. It will be a minimum amount of just raising the nursery kind of cost, not a very big cost. So, you don't have to plant just 1. And you may have a tree to sit under like Gautama the Buddha. It may work. Thank you very much.
Concluding…
You want to say something, please?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I just told few of my friends that I'm going to meet Sadhguru. So I thought they will tell me to take blessings or, they'll tell me questions what to ask. But you know what they said? They said, give him a hug, man, they said. You are cool, sir.
This is a trick.
No.
It's a trick.
No, it is not a trick.